Sit back, relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains of Washington State. Here from the studio in Cape Horn, Concrete, Washington. So, yes, we are at show number 4.
That's right, folks. 4.
Of our 24-hour marathon. There are like 15 hours left. That doesn't sound so bad as 24. But, yeah, so we are talking paranormal mysteries of the Antarctica.
Of the Antarctica. Like there's more than one.
Before we start, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget we got the Paranormal Radio Art Contest. We here at S4 know that sometimes when dealing with the paranormal, what we experience cannot be properly put into words, so we are asking you, the public, to share with us your best paranormal artwork. Between August 1st and September 30th, we will be accepting your 2D artwork, which we will then be featuring on Facebook, Twitter, and our webpage during the month of October. The hosts of S4 will then pick one to win an S4 swag bag valued at $75. All 2D mediums accepted, must be 18 to enter. All artwork must be PG. No nudity, please. Entries should be submitted to S4radiowinner@gmail.com. That's S4radiowinner@gmail.com.
Very nudity, okay.
What?
Yep.
As long as they have pasties on.
Okay. Leaves. Just leaves. Oh.
So, okay, to start off, I'm going to just introduce you to the continent of Antarctica. So, it is our southernmost continent on Earth, home to the South Pole. It is entirely south of the Antarctic Circle. It's a total of 5,500,000 square miles, with a population of 1,000 to 5,000 depending on the season.
And 4,999 are aliens.
Penguins, actually.
Okay.
Wow. Wait, do penguins quack?
So the entire continent is covered in ice that averages 6,200 feet thick.
Isn't the ice shelf melting?
Can't talk about that or Skype will shut down.
Right.
No, but didn't that come up on the whole climate change thing?
So it's a ongoing debate that it is melting, but there are scientists that have said it's melting at the same rate it has in the past.
Okay.
So it does melt to a certain point, and then
and it comes back.
The ice ages bring it back.
Yay, Ice Age! We want the Ice Age. Ice Age fun.
So it is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent.
Dude, does that mean with Ice Age we get snowmobiles?
Yeah. If we buy them.
Right.
And at that point, they'll be like $5 million each.
We better get them now.
It has the highest average elevation of all the continents, which is kind of amazing. Like, it actually does have the tallest peak. Mm-hmm. It is a well-known fact that Everest is the tallest peak, but that's only because Mount Everest, at its base, is over 600 feet below sea level. Mm-hmm. This is already 6,200 feet, almost above sea level.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it does have the tallest peak in the world.
And that goes right along with the whole theory with Admiral Byrd.
Oh, yes.
We'll get there.
Bird is the word.
We'll get there. Its first name given in the early 1800s was Terra Australis, shortened to Australia. Now, some of the coolest things about Antarctica aren't even really paranormal. They are in the fact that it's the only continent to have over 400 lakes buried beneath 3 kilometers of ice.
Yeah.
They don't freeze due to the pressure of the overhead ice, and most of them sit at about minus 3 degrees Celsius.
That's where the whole Earth is.
The whole... So, Lake Vostok, discovered in 1990 by the Russians, is the largest known lake in Antarctica. The biggest discovery of those lakes came in 2014 when they found a full ecosystem of microorganisms 1 kilometer below the ice in Lake Willans. Most of these, or almost all of these creatures have not seen air or sunlight for over 10 million years, and they still are surviving. They use methane and ammonia for energy.
Okay, so
Once they brought them to the surface, they died.
So then, once the
Okay.
things melt before the next ice age, all those poor little organisms are toast.
Yeah.
Well,
Not a chance. There is no way before the next ice age that we are going to... That thing is going to melt more than, like, over a kilometer. It's not possible.
Well,
In
if it
the
does,
last-
the water level's going to rise quite a lot.
Oh, New York's going to be underwater. Seattle's going to be underwater. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the
it
last
kinda
2,000
happens.
years, we haven't... the Icefields Parkway in Jasper National Park has not melted more than 1 meter of the ice.
In 10,000 years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we good for a while.
Yeah, we're good.
For a little bit, anyway.
Exactly. Michael says it's possible, but not in our lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I honestly wouldn't see our grandkids' lives either. It's going to be a while.
yeah. Like, honestly, I think we've got a good 5,000 years probably before
Yeah.
we see another ice age. So,
Winter's coming.
You know, and that's what's interesting too is, so we moved to concrete in 2012 expecting snow. It didn't snow. No, it didn't snow from 2012, 2013, 2014. I think even in 2015 we might have got a flurry. We've had 1 foot to 2 feet of snow the last 3 years.
Yeah, we have. And it's stuck around forever.
No, it lasted 2 months.
so
So
We don't have that problem in Kentucky.
and again, we moved up here just to get the hell away from people, and we know what you're walking into. So you have to have a 4x4 up here. You have to have at least 4-wheel drive to live up here.
Either that, or you have to have a Canadian, like I do, who knows how to
Right.
drive really,
Right.
really well in the snow, and we can ball anything down that road.
Or
Yes,
no, you're
would be
staying
great.
home for 2 months.
Huh?
I mean,
Yeah.
and there's some people who do that too.
Oh, I can't. If
Yeah,
there's
too
snow,
much?
I have to drive. It's so much fun. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the giant hole. So, in 2017, a hole the size of Ireland opened up.
Seriously? What was in the hole?
Ice hole.
Going back to an earlier show, this is known as a Polninia. The hole is nothing new, except with a span of 87,000 square kilometers. It is the largest hole observed since the 1970s and the first one to open in over 40 years. It was found in the Weddell Sea of the Southern Ocean. It was formed due to the warmer, saltier water found in the deeper parts of the sea. The warm water is pushed by ocean currents, melting the ice on the surface. As the water comes in contact with the cooler surface water, it sinks again, only to be reheated and pushed back to the surface. Scientists aren't completely sure why they're created, but believe it may be marine mammals using the openings to breathe.
Okay.
So it's a possibility in certain parts of the ice shelf of Antarctica, there are marine mammals that can get to those parts, and they come up in the center for air.
And that would make sense. It would weaken the ice that's there.
That is a big ice hole.
Right?
Like, that's
Yeah, it
huge.
was a gigantic ice hole, but it's probably...
We're talking the size of
something to do
Ireland?
with
The size of Ireland, and the thing is, like, these holes form all over the world, and not just in ice. Like they go through solid ground.
Well, I'm hoping...
Like, for example, Mel's Hole, and in Washington here, and then they close for no reason.
Just out of the blue?
But
Yes.
that's
You'll have a small earthquake or tremor in the area, and then they close.
No, that's from the
Well-
gnomes breathing.
And what, Mother Earth knows?
Gnomes.
Oh, I need to say that's from her nose breathing.
You know-
I'm like,
I imagine there is a lot of sulfur coming out of those holes. So I'm not thinking it's the nose. I'm thinking it's another hole.
I think it's related to the secret Nazi subbase.
Well, but then, okay, so do the Nazis have one here as well in Washington?
Probably.
hey, you know what though? Wasn't it like Alien versus Predator or something? It's one of those shows.
Yes.
Where there
It
was
was.
a giant hole in the Antarctic that they slid down and found that pyramid.
Okay. So,
Well, that's
from
that's
elongated
a fact
skulls
there, too, so.
and strange
You know what?
pyramids.
It's
Yeah, go
strange
ahead,
thing
Barry.
about Antarctica that I have to think that we can't go there. You have to have permission to go there, even though there's 1,000 or 4,000 people at one time there. That's all for the whole continent. You have to be assigned there or given permission to go there.
But there is a reason for that. And it does actually make sense. Now,
What is the reason? Overpopulation of an ice
No.
age?
So the thing is, no country owns that land. It is not owned by any specific country. It is shared by the entire world.
So this is a world
So we
timeshare.
cannot. No country is allowed to overpopulate that area. Because once you get over a certain population, it does become a territory.
I'm going to put my flag there.
So each country is only allowed a certain amount of people to be there at one time. So, and yes, Anthony Bourdain did go there, but it did take him quite a bit of time
So did Buzz Aldrin.
to get there. And you can go there, but you have to have permission from your government.
So it's just
I'm
like the
gonna go
visa
for it.
process for you to be able to go from like here to China, except it's a more extensive process. Okay.
It is now. Like back in the earlier days, like the 1800s, early 1900s, there was no such thing as this type of stuff. But
Right.
Let's go put an S4 flag over there.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, let's start a war. Cool.
Hook up an apron and put it on a pole there.
Okay, now I'm in.
There you go.
So, from elongated skulls and strange pyramids to alien spaceships, bizarre structures, and a giant staircase, many people believe that Antarctica once housed extraterrestrial life, or still does.
Ooh, strange staircase.
So, the first thing, 3 pyramids in 2016 were discovered in Antarctica.
Sweet.
These pyramids measured over 4,000 feet tall, making 10 times the height of the Great Pyramids of Giza.
That's
Damn.
a big pyramid.
There is no record of any ancient civilization ever existing in Antarctica. Plus, such massive construction would have required unbelievable resources and manpower to create it. Like, there is so many holes in this theory that I have real issues with it. One of the biggest problem is the area. The area that it's in. Mm-hmm. They feel, from what scientists have been able to tell, no one has touched ever. It's almost impossible to get to. So, conspiracy theorists claimed that the pyramids were built by some undiscovered ancient civilization that has lived in Antarctica for 100,000 million years.
That's a big number.
That's 11 billion.
That's 11 billion years ago.
Now, the problem with that
11 billion years ago.
Is unless they were built by dinosaurs, humans have only been on Earth for 2 billion years.
The Raptors did it.
And the dinosaurs at that time, 100 million years ago, still had flippers. So, I would say, according to scientists, they believe these pyramids are either horn or non-attack mountains. It's a horn that's formed after erosion washes down the sides of a mountain, making it appear like a pyramid. Now, the conspiracy theorists have said in the past that no structure can be made like that is that perfect. And the counter to that is, it's not perfect.
So, you're looking at...
It all angles way too hard.
Like Michael said earlier, pareidolia.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that's the thing. They're using Google Earth to view this because you still can't get there.
Right.
Yeah, buddy.
Right.
Okay, so we're thinking... Okay, so, like, we found pyramids, or what we would call pyramid-like structures, on other planets as well. So, is this the same type of thing as that, where it's not necessarily built by somebody? It might be a man-made, but it might also be a... Pareidolia.
Yeah. And some have argued about the pyramids on Mars being, just a trick of shadow, a trick of rock, honestly, I'm going to go with, I do think there was pyramids on Mars, because I do think it was inhabited at one point in time, if it's not still.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's my philosophy also.
But I could understand where something would look like something until you got a closer look at it. I mean, because, like Michael was saying earlier, I mean, we look up into the sky and we see a cloud and we can say, hey, that looks like an elephant. Hey, that looks like this. Mm-hmm. But once you're closer to it, it's a cloud. It's not... It doesn't look like...
How'd you get closer to the cloud?
Oh,
did you jump?
and yes, Michael, the face also. And again, you have the skeptics that do say, it's not a face, that's just a trick of shadow.
Well, our minds automatically make facial patterns.
That's
right, exactly.
And that's called pareidolia. Pattern and everything. That is pareidolia.
Well, you look at the hills in southern Alberta. Right. They make a perfect Indian head.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
And they really do. Like, it is actually a very weird thing, but they do make a good head. Mm-hmm. And it's a very cool
feature.
Yeah. So, continuing with weird shapes. Scientists yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to... I'll let you go ahead and go. I'm just going to sit here and go,
So, scientists have revealed the existence of weird, almost perfectly rectangular icebergs in Antarctica. Just floating around. They are often huge and sometimes visible from space. They're that big.
That's Yeti.
Yeah, they're cutting their own ice for their drinks. Mm-hmm. They look more man-made than natural. It's almost as if they were neatly carved out of a larger iceberg. conspiracy theorists have jumped on that as well, saying that they are floating bases, is the way it was put. And the thing is, like, scientists call them tabular icebergs. They are naturally formed when a part of an iceberg breaks off from a larger one. And the way I would describe that is, think of how they cut granite.
It's easy to create a theory based on a concept of something you can't prove to begin with, because you can't go to Antarctica.
Well, you can, and that's the thing. And you don't have to anymore with these. That's the best part, is you can go to Google Earth and actually view these right on the thing. And with that, you actually get in close enough. I did that 2 days ago, and you can still see a lot of these. They're not perfect rectangles.
Well, and see, that's the thing, too, is that even if you did get the chance to actually go to Antarctica, you're in a very, very small portion of a huge continent.
Right.
Because you only get this much access to it. You don't get free range everywhere on Antarctica.
Right, exactly. The special equipment you're going to be able to drive out there with, look at it, and everything else. And I'm sure that there has been others that have looked at it just from the sheer whistleblowers that have been coming up out of that's been on Antarctica. Some of the things that have been talked about is just hair-raising. And ever since, gosh, my mind's not working yet. I don't think it's going to be working the rest of the day. Bird's thing down there when he went there. Look, that was a very strange encounter, and we still don't talk about, and maybe possibly don't really know the truth of what happened down during Bird's visit there.
Right.
And the war and the battle that was taking place there. So, I mean, it's been steeped in mystery forever. And then you bring in the conspiracy of people going from Germany to Argentina and then going from Argentina to Antarctica, brings up a really interesting play also. This place has been steeped in mystery for a long, long time. And,
absolutely.
It's just we don't know, and I don't know if they could. Look at what they do here. We've already mentioned through the other shows we've done in this marathon that we know that they're hiding things they don't want us to know about. They manipulate the media. They manipulate a lot of different things. So. It's still going on over there. It's the same thing. I mean, we still don't know about giants, and they don't talk about giants. We know that they've been found here, they've been written about, but try to go find one. I mean,
we don't even know what's in half of the national forest we've got, because they don't.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's just ridiculous. We don't know what's under the ocean, but we may know what everything is on Mars.
Yeah, no joke, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If we looked at half the shit in the Mariana Trench, for example, imagine what we'd find.
Yeah. I don't want to see this stuff in there. Okay, because I'm telling you, man, have you ever seen, like, an actual anglerfish? Okay? You seen an actual anglerfish? Those things are huge, and they have the freakiest teeth, and they're coming at you with this light ball, and you're like, oh my god. Okay, those things are terrifying. I would not want to see half of the sea creatures that come out of that trench.
Oh, Anthony loves talking about Megalodon.
It would scare the crap out of me. I'd be like, oh, heck no, there is not some creature that looks like that. That does not exist.
I still want to know who put the cable down where Alltech is and where it drops off so bad. Where did that cable, who put that cable there?
Right.
So following the whole idea with aliens in Antarctica, the next thing, I just sent a picture to everyone on the panel right now. And I also posted it in the S4 Facebook page. So if you would like to see the photo, go in there. This is a photo from Google Earth that UFO researchers claim is a downed craft.
A downed craft.
So it's a long trail in the snow. Or ice, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The trail starts from what appears to be a collapsed peak of a mountain. This suggests that the UFO hit the peak as it crash landed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, geologists don't agree, and I wish Joe was still here because he could verify this, but they insist that the trail was caused by an avalanche. In my personal opinion, I believe they're both wrong.
It's a candy cane.
It looks like a meteor.
It could be.
Well, the mysterious meteorite that sped up, and I can't remember the name of it, so someone help me out. Moa, that's correct.
Yeah.
The thing about that craft looks like Moa sitting there. It
kind of does.
That's the whole process of it. We don't know what happened to Moa. It just disappeared.
And I would have to argue, I do firmly believe Moa was a...
intelligent craft.
Yeah, it was an actual craft sent by who knows.
Right.
Not one of ours, though, obviously.
The only thing I do wish about the photo is that it shows the entire trail, because if we could see the bottom of the peak, it would give us a little bit more information, as we would probably be able to see parts of the peak that are fallen behind.
Right.
And have hit the ground. I don't know, like, what do you guys think this is?
Well, is there anything around it? Like, is there any mountains or any glaciers or anything?
Not within the photo.
Right. But that's what I'm saying.
Where it hit, there's that little mound that it may have hit in. But the weird thing about it is, it's either you see the track that it leaves. It left the track.
It is a perfect trail.
Right, it's a perfect trail, and it's just like we have these mysterious stones in deserts that move and leave the same trail. This thing left that trail. But it's not moving any time soon. It's stuck there, but it just left that trail just like that.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah.
And when you look at it, it does look like Moa, and I don't know how big this is, but they have been down on it and around it, and I do know that. I've seen other pictures with folks walking around the darn thing. So there is some entrance.
See, the only reason I was wondering about, like, if there's any mountains or anything anywhere nearby is because it looks like, okay, when you go sledding in the snow, right? It looks like a piece of something broke off of something and just slid down the hill. Mm-hmm. So...
Well, and the problem I have with that, too, is if you look at the lines in the snow, those lines are almost horizontal to the direction it traveled.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And they don't sag towards the bottom.
Right.
So you'd have if that is the bottom of a mountain peak, that is you got wind traveling upwards there.
Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Which means really you shouldn't have a perfect trail. No matter what it was.
No. It should have been covered up, immediately. If that was the case.
Right.
So, like, that one, I would have to say is still undecided with what it actually is. And this is the biggest problem with Google Earth is they show these pictures, and that is the one thing we've noticed about, and it applies to both poles, is the pictures of our houses everywhere in the United States, they don't change for a year or two.
No.
But the pictures at the poles change every week.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh.
Every week it's a different photo.
Yeah, they are
Which
heavily
sucks.
monitoring.
You can't find
area.
Santa.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like they monitor both poles very closely, and so everything does change a lot.
Could that be because of the fear of the poles shifting?
See, and that would be a very good reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy theorists automatically jumped on the fact of that, saying they changed them so we can't find out what it is.
It's the aliens.
Yeah,
Right.
they don't, like, the governments don't want us to know what's there, so the photos change almost automatically.
You know, I think the poles doing a flip-flop is more important than whether or not there's aliens there. So I would go more on that.
So, because
that fact.
There are also 2 craters along the coast of Antarctica. Both go deep below the surface into the permafrost as if something had dug its way in.
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy theorists have, of course, jumped on board, suggesting that the craters are entrances to a secret government facility, an alien base, or the secret Nazi base. Scott Waring, a UFO conspiracy theorist, said that the craters were formed by a UFO buried in the permafrost. He claims that he spotted the UFO in the original image he viewed on Google Earth. However, explained the UFO is no longer visible because Google edited the original image.
Hey, so...
Now, if he says he viewed the original image, if you are a UFO researcher, would you not screenshot that?
Right?
Sure.
So Google went into his computer and took the original image and...
Well, of course he did.
Hey, okay, so I have just another random thought about that thing that slid across the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, how many international flights have gone missing that we don't know where are?
Tons.
Okay, but the issue with that is in order... No one flies over the pole.
Unless
It's a really bad idea.
No, I understand
And-
it's a really bad idea, but what I'm saying is, has there been any international flights that have flown close to the area that could have been taken off
All
track?
information given says that this is at the base of one of the highest peaks. No plane would make it there.
Okay.
This is why we don't explore Antarctica as much as possible, because at the even the middle of the center of Antarctica, like the middle of the mountains, not the full height, but only halfway up,
right?
Fuel lines freeze.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay.
So
that makes total sense.
yeah, and the fact that it is one of the windiest continents, you can't fly there. You wouldn't make it to that area that it's in.
Okay. Now, what about that supposed Black Knight satellite that disappeared? Right. So, I mean, if something is coming from
where did
a higher...
it disappear? Where was it over?
I think that was Russia that it was over. Yeah, that's a ways.
Oh, well, long ways.
Yeah, that's a little too far to fall, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
You know,
I don't
Antarctica itself is just a weird place. The rumors, the things that are going on there. I mean, it has a forbidden zone, and
Absolutely.
no one who has ever been there, or some people who try to go to the forbidden zone, never come back. whether it's security penguins or whatever it is watching everybody that going down there. I mean, I don't know what kind of security they have, but it's very odd, that whole area, and which is also freaky because you don't see, you're talking about Google and how often they go there and the satellite shots from that area. We don't see anything in the Forbidden Zone, though, do we?
Penguins with gunshots.
And do you know what one of my favorite stories from Antarctica was? And it was a big news story. I think it was like 2012. It might have been 2013, somewhere around there. But Antarctica got their first ATM for the residents.
Yeah.
And in 2 years, they were hoping to get their first store.
Yeah.
So they had an ATM where you could pull out money but nowhere to spend it.
Penguins.
Yeah.
What kind of money are they using there? That's the question. It's not a country or anything else. So what are they using for money?
So the ATM dispensed, I believe it was 5 different types of currency.
This seems like a waste of government funds.
Well, which government, though?
Well, all governments that put into it. I mean, come on now.
They're giving away gold doubloons.
But is it government funds? Because it has to be backed by some banks, and I don't know.
Okay, this seems like a waste of Rothschild funds.
If I owned a bank, I would want to be able to say, yeah, we have an ATM in Antarctica.
We have an ATM in every continent.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that is kind of a
Wells Fargo.
Okay. So this zone of Antarctica that you can't travel to, that nobody's really seen besides in maybe some still photographs or something of that nature, right?
A lot of explorers have tried, and
right, and they never come back. They're never seen it. That's why that area is forbidden to go to, because no one ever comes back.
When the poles do shift, they'll come back. Look, they'll find them.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, what do you think could live there? Like, okay, so if it was completely untouched by mankind since the damn Ice Age, right? Then, and we know that there are certain creatures and certain things that can live in sub-zero temperatures, that can live in massive heats, things like that. Things that we wouldn't think were possible, we've seen happen. What kind of a animal or a cryptid or a creature do you think would be able to continue in that area that we have never seen?
But is there not underneath, from what I've heard from the whistleblowers down there, that the temperature underneath is, they go in, they find these wonderful caves with lighting in it that has hieroglyphics all over them. There's some kind of lighting available into it, and the temperature is in the 60-degree range.
Maybe.
The one thing about the Forbidden Zone, you mentioned the gigantic hole in the North Pole, which also has a unusual thing around it, because it also has like a wall around it to keep people from falling into it. It's a natural thing, and in the center of it, when you talk about the Forbidden Zone, is to the south of it, and it is, just like a pyramid itself. I mean, it just goes right to the center of the hole, and it comes out like you were doing a triangle, and that's the whole area there. And it goes directly into the center of the hole.
A hole like that would have air rushing upward, so that would be a wall that would keep you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but there's actually a wall around it. There is a they call it the wall around the hole.
Huh. Is that the same wall you were talking about the other day?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
Totally different wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't. But
We're gonna hit that one in the third hour because that one's gonna be a
I just mean
shot
like
show.
we have no idea what could actually be there. That's kind of cool to think about, that there's that big of a piece of the world that could have anything, and we don't know what that is.
Well, and that's the thing. It's because
Lends to mystery.
Mm-hmm.
the problem is they used to be able to say it was undiscovered, but now it's harder to say that because of things like Google Earth. But Google Earth is so misleading, it's not even funny. Because you look at different formations, then they can look like something, and automatically you're studying it as that. Mm-hmm. And 20 years later, you find out it's not that.
No, it's a cat.
Right.
Like,
You know, some of the things that have been said about Antarctica, even a tropical zone in it, where hollow Earth type things are supposed to be one. In Alaska, same thing, where they've flown over it and seen green Earth, green land there, and no one ever talks about it. Same thing in Antarctica. There's supposed to be a tropic zone there. That
It's the Great Valley.
Hidden away from. Yeah, exactly. So it's a very interesting place with a lot of secrets, and they're surely not sharing them. And when Buzz Aldrin came back, what was one of the things that he said was the most scariest thing that he has ever seen in his life, what he encountered there. And if you've listened to Buzz lately and everything else, he's not all there.
yeah.
Since he's made that trip.
So, one of the other geological mysteries that are there is, in 2009, scientists from NASA and the German Aerospace Center discovered a crater deep under the permafrost.
Mm-hmm.
Although they only recently reported it, it was first discovered in an analysis of satellite images of Antarctica in 2006. They think that the crater was one of the asteroids that hit the Earth millions of years ago and caused the extinction of the dinosaurs.
Cool.
Conspiracy theorists, of course, do not think so. They think that the crater is the entrance to the center of the Earth.
Yeah, and that, from seeing photos and everything else, and again, you don't know what you're actually looking at. I mean, you can watch YouTube videos and everything else and see it. You don't know if it's fact or fiction.
Now, the reason that they gave for it being the one that actually hit the dinosaur, or killed off the dinosaurs, is they went back and actually went through the rotation of the Earth, and it does fit where one of them would have hit when Antarctica was part of Gondwana land.
Which was
the ancient supercontinent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and which was a
Gondwana land. Wasn't that Pangea?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, totally different.
But that land was known as a tropical area.
Yes. So,
and that's what's weird about it.
And if they were if we actually got to the point where we were able to drill through Antarctica, and that is true, that it was part of it, and that's where they were, where the asteroid hit during the time of the dinosaurs, it is possible that on the outer edges of the ice shelf, farther down, we could actually find full remains of a dinosaur.
That's what I'm saying. Could you imagine?
With skin and everything.
Could you imagine the fossils that you could pull out of that
Not
thing?
fossils.
I mean, it wouldn't even be a fossil. It would be like a freezer burnt dino.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
you could actually, honestly, probably pull live cells off that.
Right, and recreate. That's the one scary thing about it is you pull
what do you mean scary? Don't say scary. I'm getting a pet. I am gonna get a pet velociraptor.
Holy Jurassic
That's
Park!
mine.
I don't like it. I don't like it, man.
Yeah, it's Jurassic Park all over.
Well, you know they're trying to do that with a chicken, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Let's have a T-Rex ring down Seattle Main Street. There we go. That's really smart.
You know, there's
Well,
so many,
no. That was Jurassic Park 3, and that was in L.A.
It'll stop the looters.
There's also very strong magnetic fields there that that they call visitor land or whatever it is, where you can actually, no matter where you're at, it seems to, wherever you're coming from, it leads everyone to this one area, even though you don't think you're going there. Because if you're following a compass, it will all take everybody to this one area.
Yep. And that actually leads into the next theory.
Ooh, theories.
Oh, that theory.
So a lot of people believe that the point where it actually takes you, it's considered the entrance to Atlantis. Because that is what they believe that Antarctica originally was. It was the lost continent of Atlantis.
Okay, whoa. Except Atlantis was not.
So the lost city of Atlantis, according to them, is hidden beneath kilometers of ice. The city would have thrived when Antarctica was a warm tropical region and would have been buried after the Ice Age froze the continent.
Atlantis went up.
So this theory was particularly fashionable during the 1960s and 70s, spurred on partly both by the isolation of the continent and also the Piri-Reis map, which purposely shows Antarctica as it would be ice-free, suggesting human knowledge of that period. Flavio Barberio, Charles Berlitz, and Eric von Däniken, and Peter Colosomo.
Eric von Däniken, yeah.
Okay.
Are some of the popular authors who made this proposal.
Huh. Interesting.
What, the Antarctica's Atlantis?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right.
Well, okay, so I've heard this theory about Stargates, right? And about how Stargates, there was a Stargate on Atlantis, there was a Stargate, there's X amount on the Earth, right? Well, if we go with that theory, then wouldn't Antarctica be part of Atlantis because they could just Stargate there? Be like, poof. I'm just saying.
Charles Hapgood came up with the Earth crustal displacement theory.
Huh?
Charles Hapgood came up with the Earth crustal displacement theory. His theory suggests that Earth's outer crust is able to move up upon the upper mantle layer rapidly up to a distance of 2,000 miles, placing Atlantis, as we know it from Greece history, in Antarctica.
They can think what they want. I will say wait. It's not here.
So it's particularly popular with hollow earthers.
Well, of course it is.
And can be seen as a mirror of the Hyperborean identification.
Huh. Well, that would explain the pyramids. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it really would, honestly. Like, if that was part of it, it would explain for the pyramid shapes if... Because if you got to think of it as ice develops over an area. If there's a pyramid underneath, there's a good possibility that's going to continue to grow into a pyramid up above.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So it's
one of the craziest theories that there is out there for Antarctica is the superhuman race that big head races that you find in Easter Island. You also find there. So they think that some of the people that were there left that area and made it to Easter Island.
See, and I didn't find that one.
That is
See,
so weird.
you just gotta dig deep.
So, are we talking like Antarctica was the cradle of the earth versus like Africa being the cradle of the earth? Like all life sprung from Antarctica?
I think that Antarctica is probably the strangest and most mysterious place on Earth, and it dates back millions and millions of years, and it could be hidden for UFO bases and probably the seeding of Earth there, because of the everything's covered with so much ice. And what's weird is these pyramids and everything else, even though we say, oh, it's not melting that fast, but how they're seeing these things is because of ice melt.
Yeah,
they were totally covered, and now they're starting to see all these things. So there is a large amount of ice melt happening there for some reason or other.
Well, but and just like Eric was talking about this area in 2012, they moved here. They expected a lot of snow, and there was none. And in recent years, we've been getting it again. And I honestly believe that's going to keep getting worse.
Yeah.
We'll get more snow, and it'll be longer time of actual snowfall. And I think that areas like Antarctica just have a longer period of ups and downs.
True. I got to take a quick break here just for a second. Be right back.
Oh, no worries.
Actually.
We're almost at time for a break. So, when we come back, we're going to hit up on the Nazis.
We're going to talk about Nazis.
We're going to talk about the Nazis.
Is that everyone bird too?
Sure.
Yeah. Bird is a word.
Friend. So we'll talk about the Nazis and all the expeditions that went to Antarctica to find ice, because that's all that's there.
Well, that's all that they could get to that was there anyway. So.
Everyone bird eat the yellow snow.
So we will be back in just a few minutes.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
You break, you're going down.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to S4. So we are back for our second hour of the Mysteries of the Antarctica. You got me saying it.
Mysteries of the Antarctica.
Yeah, the Antarctica. So, in this hour, we're going to talk about the Nazis.
Nazi.
Friend, there are so many theories about what the Nazis were doing in Antarctica. So,
how'd they get there?
Well, honestly, they were freezing there.
So, in 1938, the Nazi Party led an expedition to Antarctica.
Okay.
Which presumably consisted of several military and scientific ships. While there, the Nazis supposedly discovered several underground caves and rivers and later converted the largest cave into a secret city where they lived with the Illuminati. Some conspiracy theorists speculate that Hitler fled to the secret base after losing the war. Believers also claim that the Nazis somehow managed to lay their hands on alien tech at the secret base. They exploited this to build the weapons they tested at the smaller caves. Okay, in truth, the Nazis do not have a secret base in Antarctica. There is no evidence that they ever made weapons with alien technology or tested any weapon in Antarctica either. The Nazis only actually sent one ship to the region around 1938 in search of new whale hunting grounds. They abandoned the expedition as soon as World War II broke out. Now, here's the thing.
That means that Temple Guselschaft isn't good.
I'm going to start with my biggest thing about this.
Okay.
Now, everyone always talks about what the Nazis were doing, all this stuff they had, everything that they were doing. If they had alien tech, how the hell did they lose the frickin' war?
Right? I would concur with that.
And if they were able to build a base in Antarctica, why weren't they launching planes from there?
Agreed.
Go ahead. No, this is where you need to come in.
No, it is not.
Come on, Frodo Line.
Hey.
Well, the weird thing about it is they almost did win the war. You know, at one point, sometimes there's a serious consideration to it. What they did is, and they went beyond that. I mean, they were stocking up artwork, hiding it in caves, doing all this other stuff. But they were also looking for a certain kind of power by trying to go out and look for all of the great Christian and biblical things that were out there. I mean, that's what they were looking for, and were collecting a lot of them, and the artwork and everything else. They were very much into mysticism, if you will, or Hitler was in his group. If you look at it, they had some of the best scientists, which we ended up getting at the war. I think if the war would have gone a little bit later, we might all have been speaking German.
And I would agree, but there was never any alien tech used.
That is not true.
Like
yeah,
what?
I think that
The bell.
when you, the bell was the bell.
Okay, yes, but technically the bell wasn't actually used during wartime. The concept was brought to hand and everything else. But
what's curious about the bell is the Kecksburg UFO crash had very large similarities to the bell.
True.
You remember that, don't
Exactly.
you?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
was that actually a UFO that crashed in Kecksburg, or was it actually maybe one of our replicas of the bell? Or was it even, Germany's bell?
Could have been the bell that came back through something.
Right.
So,
no.
There's also part of that theory is that the U.S. and British forces repeatedly tried destroying the base during the war, but were unsuccessful. We only managed to demolish it after dropping an atomic bomb on the base in 1958. Conspiracy theorists claim that the Nazis destroyed a U.S. airplane during this operation.
Okay.
The so-called operation to expel the Nazis from the secret UFO base was actually a military training to simulate the invasion of the Soviet Union. This involved 13 ships, 33 airplanes, and 4,700 soldiers.
So there were airplanes there. So that picture...
The Nazis didn't
totally
shoot an airplane down. Mm-hmm. The plane got too close to the ice, and it actually crashed.
Is that what that picture is? The fuselage of a plane that crashed?
Lastly, the atomic bomb supposedly used to destroy the UFO base was actually detonated 2,400 kilometers off the shore of Antarctica, where most of our nuclear offshore testing happened.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
My problem with this is knowing the speed that German U-boats were able to travel during World War II.
Mm-hmm. Through ice?
Way too long to get to Antarctica. Honestly, I don't think it... Not when they already had Africa.
Right.
Africa was a very rich training ground for them. Lots of live targets.
Yeah,
Horrible to say it that way, but it's true.
When you talk about the Vril and you talk about the Bell legends and you talk about the Hannibal, help me with that. I always screw that name up. They're UFO-shaped a craft that they developed and was developed. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think it's the Hannibal or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, these things were, whether they never get off the ground, whatever else, there's been pictures of them, there's everything else. When Byrd got there, with Admiral Byrd, supposedly, which is a sealed document right now, that you can't get a hold of, is a thing where it says there was a battle there. Mm-hmm. And that they actually saw UFOs there. And they had Nazi markings on them.
Yeah, you're not talking about the Die Glocke, are you?
No.
Okay, no. So Die Glocke was the same as the bell.
No, I can't find it.
That one.
Let me see if I can find something on the thing. Look for it. I think it's
Canada
HAN.
also had one.
Huh?
Canada had a UFO that'd be built.
Yeah.
And now I can't find it.
Oh, you're talking about Hannibal.
Habitable.
Yeah, Hannibal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they had different versions of them. They had the 1, the 2, and the 3, I believe. And that's the closest thing that we will ever see to a UFO on this planet. That it was not a UFO and was built by Nazis.
Yes.
I mean, because it looks just like a UFO.
Okay, so I'm going to say my little piece on Nazis here because I have to.
Promote your people, yes.
Hey. Okay. First of all, I am not a Nazi. Second of all, I am High German, and my family did serve on that side of the war. Yes, they did. Half of them. That my father's half. Okay. So, I will say though that there was some astronomical crap that came out of Germany. Okay? And there were some of the best and the brightest scientists in the world that were picked.
And they came here under Operation Paperclip.
Yes. That were picked up from all over the world and made to study as much as they could about every possible theory that was out there. From stuff that no one believed to stuff that was everyday science. Mm-hmm. And they were given a ridiculous amount of human guinea pigs to study this on. Okay? They were also given a ridiculous amount of funds to be able to do it. And they were given no rules as to where there was a stop point or anything else. There were no FDA rules. There were no, that's too far to go. There was no humanity in it.
No ethics.
Yes. So, given the fact that you could give a scientist a lab and let them go completely insane and do anything that they wanted to and anything that they'd ever thought about doing. Completely horrible, completely against the rules of nature, the rules of God, the rules of whatever you want to call it. But amazing scientific discoveries came from that.
Yeah.
And some ridiculous engineering came from that. And realistically, if you think about the amount of time, energy, and money that they spent on that, they should have won the war based on technology. Based on the amount of technology that they had at the time,
right?
There shouldn't have been the ability for them to have lost. What came from the losing was the fact that Hitler and the whole regime and everything got so into these different assets of stuff that didn't pan out, that they ended up not going in the right direction with the discoveries that they found.
And we're lucky they didn't.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so he went far into the fringe and way off of the, what you would call the deep end, as far as his discoveries, and didn't utilize the stuff that he had actually created that could have put him over the tipping point of winning the war.
I think Hitler's downfall was his dabbling in the occult and his interest in the supernatural versus the science and the technology that he could have shifted more focus into.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. If he would have been a little less open-minded, right, I guess you would say, if he would have gone strictly military purposes,
right,
with all of his studies and with all of his random experiments and everything else,
instead of going into the esoteric,
instead of going into the fringe topics, instead of going into the different worlds and the different things, then there would have been no way any power at that time on Earth would have been able to even come close to competing.
Right.
But the problem was that he put so much time, energy, military effort, and money into the other things, into finding the fountain of youth, into finding all of these things, because he was so afraid of death itself, that he was willing to put every ounce of everything he had into finding a way to prolong his own life versus actually winning the war.
Right.
But with that being said, there were some amazing things that did come out of there as far as engineering.
And they came over here.
And they did come over here. When they did Operation Paperclip. Okay, so there's a lot of people that'll tell you Operation Paperclip was was not real, that it wasn't, that they didn't bring over. Look into our history.
Look at the rockets.
Even if you don't want to call it Operation Paperclip, even if it was called something separated from that, they did take German scientists, the best and the brightest German scientists, different scientists, CIA brought them over,
were brought through
and brought all of their information and all of their knowledge, blueprints, everything you can think of, with them.
Right.
So, yes. Part of the reason that now the U.S. is such a highly advanced as far as militarized weapons and everything like that is the fact that we jumped probably a good 20, 30 years from the information that was brought over from Germany.
Right.
But I get that they did a lot and they had a lot of resources, they had everything. My problem is, by air, Germany to Antarctica is 16,000 miles.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you think about them...
That's by air. That's bird's eye.
Okay. Not to mention the fact that it's so cold over there that you could not run half of their air technology. The stuff that we had. Like, think of the Zeppelin going over there. It would have been nothing. It would have blown up. I mean, it did, but
yeah,
you know what I mean.
So logistically,
but
and feasibly,
and the way it was always described that they went over was by boat.
Right.
That's a year trip.
That is a long trip, but you got to also understand that you had a crazy ass dictator who was willing to take whatever amount of time, whatever amount of money, and whatever amount of resources he could to find things that other people couldn't.
But that's 1 year there, 1 year back just to get information.
Absolutely. And he was nuts enough to have done that.
I get that. But what I mean is, you wouldn't even find out if the first boat made it for 2 years.
Right.
Yet they were able to build an entire base. And Germany had full knowledge of it.
Didn't they still have to cut through ice just to get to that continent?
Yeah.
They didn't have the ice cutting technology on boats that we have today.
Not that we have today, but they did have it.
It would have taken a lot longer for them.
Oh, hell yeah.
Wouldn't have taken long if they had a Stargate, though.
But, well,
that's true.
That's true.
Or if the bell actually did what it was supposed to have done, it would not have taken them any time at all.
Right.
To get from point A to point B. I'm not saying that it actually happened. I'm not saying that it actually worked. But what that was designed to do, did, then it could have gotten
What was it designed to do?
Okay, well, it was designed to do two things. First of all, it was faster travel from point A to point B. And second of all, it was a time ship. So it was supposedly able to jump between different periods of time.
So if that actually worked, don't you think they would have used it and gone back in time and killed some of our leaders?
So here's the thing about time travel, guys. Okay. And I will tell you, this is the whole time travel paradox thing. Okay? Where certain events were set in stone and certain things, no matter how many times you try to change them, they're going to turn out exactly the same way. Okay? Like, they talked about it in the original Time Machine. Okay? He continuously went back in time to try to save his wife. Continuously went back in time to try to keep her from dying. And hundreds and thousands of times he went back to the exact day, the exact time. But no matter what he did, because of the fact that she was supposed to have died at that time, she still died at that time. It didn't matter what he did to change that. So I think that specific events and time, specific deaths, anytime somebody dies, anytime something like this happens, it's already done. That person can't possibly exist because they already exist somewhere else, or they already exist in a non-corporeal form. So you can't have two of the same persons And that, again, also goes into the multiverse theory, where people sit there and they say that, well, every single time that he went back, he changed it just enough to create another multiverse.
So like Dennis is saying, the real question is how that, quote, red mercury used to power the bell. Hold on. Where was it located, and where did any occupants actually sit?
Where was the red mercury located?
Yeah.
Is that what he's asking?
Mm-hmm.
And where the occupants at? Okay, so in the original design for the bell, there is a small section up at the top of the bell that was supposed to have housed the pilot. And it would only house one. Mm-hmm. It was only made for one. And what? No, what? Go.
Well, you just stated that like if that bell worked the way it was supposed to, they built a base. That is one really good pilot and really good construction worker.
Oh, no.
Because he built a base in Antarctica by himself.
That is not what I am saying. What I was saying was that if the bell had worked the way that it was supposed to, then your scouting mission would have taken you no time at all. You would have been able to scout out a place to do this, to scout out the resources that you would need, and you would be able to take them on that first ship that was going over there for that first year.
And you would have
Wow, but the supposed caves that they found weren't just your average walk straight in. These are vertical caves.
Okay.
Back then, you didn't rope climb by yourself.
No.
You didn't have. There was no gear to do that.
Uh-huh.
And can you imagine?
You would have had to have two people.
Can you imagine landing in Antarctica, stepping out of the bell, and freezing in place?
You wouldn't.
Well, ask Dennis. It's Edmonton.
Huh?
Yeah, no joke.
Like minus 68 with the wind chill. That's
me.
Tuesday.
Huh?
Well, it wasn't the first. You know, we talk about Roswell and the great things that could have come through that, and Corso and all the things that have been mentioned about him. Mm-hmm. You do know that the first UFO crash was supposed to happen in Germany in 1937, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the whole thing with them getting weapons from the UFOs, in my mind, I truly believe the aliens have a safeguard against that.
Well, we also, one of the phenomena that we had in that day were called Foo Fighters. We saw Foo Fighters.
Right.
Could you imagine, could those have been German craft at that time?
I've thought about that, and I don't know. There is so much discrepancy with Foo Fighters. You know, the U.S. thought they were Russians, the Russians thought they were Germans, or, you know, everyone blamed the other, but no one took credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. No one could.
So, but like we've always talked about, like us, like all of our technology is from downcrafts that we found, or directly from the aliens. Mm-hmm. Friend, I don't honestly think they would ever give us weapons, any of us, and even indirectly.
No.
I think as soon as something happens with one of their crafts, their weapons become inoperable, and there is no way to reverse engineer it.
I think the only argument with that would be, depending on which race it was, and the race that gives the weapons is the race that wants to see the human race destroy itself.
Right, exactly.
I could agree with that.
And that would be the argument. And that would be the argument because of the fact that what did we, you know, when you go back to the Eisenhower meetings and so forth back in those days.
There was supposed to be.
And if there wasn't, you know, it was a deal with, we have this group that's giving us spiritualness, but we have this group that's giving us technology. Oh, excuse me, we're going to take the technology because we want to be able to kick ass. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and see, I'm sorry. What?
So basically, that's what that was their choice. So yeah, you're going to get weapons. You're going to get knowledge that is that way. And what happens? The other ones are run off. And
but if it was truly a race that wanted us to destroy ourselves, wouldn't they give us enough, or one particular country, whether it be Germany or U.S. or Russia or whoever, the ultimate weapon that would actually make them in control?
Well, that's why I have a hard time with that.
With
that theory.
You would want to give them enough control that there are freedom fighters on the other side.
The ultimate weapon would be a self-destructive thing, but suppose they had another agenda as farming and slaving and doing those type of things, and resources here to continue over a long period of time. And laugh every time that we met with them.
And looking at the Greada Treaty, depending on which story you read and what research you look at, there were supposed to have been two different races. And like you said, one race was, well, we're going to give you healing.
Spiritual.
And, spiritual. And Eisenhower said, no. And I believe that was the Nordics, if I remember right, that first came. And it was the Greys that he went with. Okay, we'll give you some technology. Cell phones and fiber optics and, maybe some spy plane stuff. In exchange, we're going to abduct so many 100 or 1,000 or whatever abductees. And obviously they reneged on their agreement, and who's going to stop them?
Right.
I also, who's to say, and we can take it either way, whether it's my labs that they took, or whether it, my labs, like we've talked before, are actually the government taking people to see what that particular race is doing to them.
See, here's what I think about the weaponry and the technology. Okay, so if some ET civilization gave you one of their crafts, right? Minus the weapons. There's no weapons on this craft. Let's say it's a scientific exploration craft. Okay, so there's no reason to have a weapon on it. There's no reason to anything. Okay? We, as a human race, make weapons out of everything. So even if they didn't give us the actual technology, the actual weapon, what they gave us was a fusion engine. Okay, cool. So what did we make? We made an atomic bomb. Why? Because we figured out the process of their engine and we created this from it instead. Like that type of thing is what I'm saying, is that we have the possibility and we have the mentality to take the smallest and most mundane things and create weapons out of them.
Well, yeah, when you think of the Manhattan Project, it was mostly men working on it, and truth be told, men like to blow shit up. We're very good at it.
Right. Yeah, well, and when you look at the whole thing, Eisenhower definitely must have had a guilt complex after going through that and looking at it because of the famed 1959 speech. Because what does he do? He puts out a warning stating that hey, we've got a beware of the industrial complex. Mm-hmm. And at that time, there wasn't one. But obviously, things went awry, and other people took over and kept it very secret and away from him, and it snowballed into what it is today.
Well, maybe he knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he felt to say, hey, I've got to mention this. And when he did, everybody laughed. I mean, that was a great speech, actually, Mm-hmm. And yet, you do see it on UFO sites, and it's brought up all the time. But, geez, here's a guy ripping his heart off, telling you to beware of something that's coming down the road, because if we don't do something to stop them, we are in deep trouble.
I really wish I could find that. In Canada, we actually had built a saucer-type plane.
So there's a saucer-type plane. So Dad got Popular Mechanics, Popular Science back in the 60s.
Sure, right. I mean, if you go back and look at that, it's scary almost.
Yeah, this is back in the 60s, and they had a picture of a flying saucer that we created.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work real great. I mean, but
right. There was actually people that were, even in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, people had seen and gone into hangars that they have seen a round craft sitting there back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's talked about to this day. So obviously we were trying to do something along that lines, and we did do several things. And we always get to see the little stupid video of this thing that's hovering and bebopping all around and everything else. Well, I guess that's what I would show you also if you didn't want anybody to know about it. Because it's kind of a laughy, jokey thing when you look at it.
Yeah, like Canada's only made it. It floated 2 feet above the ground, and he was able to go about 4 miles an hour. And when he crashed, he almost died at 4 miles an hour.
Exactly. Yeah, it's almost comical, but look at where we are. And the possibilities we've got to this day, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the whole Antarctica Nazi thing is it is really at 5,500,000 square miles. It's a possibility we'll never know if they were really there.
No,
right.
Because at the same time, that's 70 years ago now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Who's to say that cave isn't caved in and gone?
Mm-hmm.
And who can say what they've discovered there already that is so mind-blowing that they're trying to put forward? And if there are beings buried underneath that area, or something living underneath there, boy, wouldn't we want to become friends with them real quick?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Friend, it.
See, no, that's the thing about Antarctica, though, is what makes it so fascinating is the fact that nobody really knows much of anything about it. And I mean, nobody can tell where people have actually been there or where they haven't.
And it's the same issue of understanding whether aliens were there or not. We don't know enough about alien races.
True.
That could be the perfect area for them, and we wouldn't know it.
Yeah, they could all be living there, having a good old time, and
that It actually does fit with the other theory of them being on the moon. Because they're on the dark side of the moon.
Right.
Super extreme temperatures.
Yeah.
Super cold. Yeah.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah, then Antarctica would be the place to chill. I mean.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Without being seen. Without being seen.
Right.
You know, it's definitely something that makes you go, let's think about that.
Right. And I mean, there's definitely other parts of the world, too, that if it were to be that they needed extremely cold temperatures. Okay, so let's say that's the thing. So these aliens that live on the dark side of the moon, they need extremely cold temperatures, so they come and they visit Antarctica, they stay in Antarctica, they might have a little base there or something. Well, there's other places around the world that they would be able to do that as well. Like, so Siberia would be one of them. Greenland would be another one of them. You have several different places that do not get warm. They reach extremely cold temperatures and stay there.
And that would be reptilians.
Right. Maybe. Or maybe it's a totally different race that we have never seen or heard of because of the fact that they live in such extremely different places than we do, with such extreme weather that we can't even handle, that we've never actually come into contact with them.
Well, it's just like the race that's thought to be in volcanoes. I mean, you know, some of them are extreme heat, some of them are extreme cold.
Cold, exactly. Yeah. And, you know, there's the ones that Clifford Stone talked about, you know, categorizing 57 of them. I kind of go along with that. But, you know, some of the stories that they've heard, there's some things that were so terrifying to look at that you would die at a heart attack just by seeing it, you know?
Right.
So possibly, who knows what's out there? Who knows what's walking around in this?
No, I've looked in the mirror in the morning, and if I can handle that, I can pretty much handle anything.
Yeah, you know, when I go to your Facebook, when I go to your Facebook page in the morning, I got to deal with that. Oh, my God.
Oh, try being married to it. Oh, okay.
Oh, because you're so much better in the morning.
Yeah, but then you got to think of the fact that too there has to be some form of non-corporeal beings as well, and we don't know what their non-corporeal form is. You know, like they could be right here chilling right next to us, and we wouldn't even know it.
Okay, so going to pop culture with that. Kayla and I have recently just started watching Stargate Atlantis. And I actually really like the way they portray the non-corporeal forms.
And the aliens. I mean, Joyce and Momoa, I'm just saying. Hey.
Well, but like the non-corporeals, they do not want to interfere with the physical world. Like the physical space. And I think that's quite an accurate portrayal. They wouldn't interact with us at all. They may be sitting next to us. We would never know it because there's no reason for them to. They have no need.
Some of them you would feel their energy.
Depending on what link they're on and what link you're on. I mean, frequency or whatever you want to call this. Right. Which is why I do believe that certain things that people would call spirits or that they would call orbs, different things like that, I do think that some of them could potentially be ETs. Just, they're not what we would expect. They're not a gray, they're not something that we could look at and go, wow, you're an alien, man.
Right.
Paul. I think of Paul.
And I agree, Dennis. If an alien craft can survive in space, then a volcano or water or even the harsh temperatures and conditions of Antarctica shouldn't ever be a problem.
Yeah.
Now, the only actual UFO sighting on record in Antarctica is above the United Research Facility. When they took a picture of the facility in its first year, there is a large round orb flying above it. And conspiracy theorists automatically ran with that and said that is a UFO. And it was immediately debunked by the researchers saying, no, that's our weather balloon.
Okay, so why is it always a damn weather balloon?
I'm going to
throw that out.
This was a circle, and it did have you could. It was a good enough photo. You could see the lines of the balloon. Mm-hmm. Like you could actually see everything for the actual weather balloon. It looked exactly like one.
Swamp gas and weather balloon. You know what? There's a lot of swamp gas and weather balloons. How can you lose that many damn weather balloons? It seems like, they come up with a better design by now.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think I actually have that photo, too.
Ooh, photos. Again, there's just so many things that we don't know about everything.
Like we said earlier, in the marathon, you answer questions, you get your answers, but you have 20 more questions to add to those answers.
Right, and you're never going to know until you firsthand touch down and touch whatever it is and go, wow, this is actually real. For us, we are such sensory creatures that we need to see, touch, hear, smell, whatever that is, to actually register in our mind as this is 100% real. We can see all the pictures in the world. We can see all of the tape recordings, all of the everything, but until you are actually face to face, able to actually physically feel that being is there and everything else about it, you're never going to 100% believe. And I think that is why people get into this field in the first place. People get into the paranormal in the first place is because of the fact that they did have something happen to them where they saw it 100%, this is real, firsthand, and now they need to understand what it was they saw. Or are there different things like this? And move on from there, and then, you spend 20, 30 years researching what you saw.
So I sent each of the photos of the research station and the balloon above it. And if Facebook won't allow me to blow the photo up now, so you kind of gotta, if you want to blow it up, you have to download it.
So I've seen that building before.
It's kind of a cool building.
Yeah, it is.
So, no, that building is actually in one of Dante Centauri's videos.
Is it?
And there is an alien. And you can,
what do you mean there is an alien? Like,
running outside that building. That building.
Running aliens in the Antarctica.
And so, again, I take anything with a grain of salt. It looks very valid, though. You can actually see an energy light. You can actually see a figure, almost transparent, running. I would have to find it, but yeah.
What does that building look like to you?
It looks like a boat.
It is.
Yeah. It looks like a freighter.
It absolutely is. Mm-hmm. And that's actually what it was.
Okay.
So it is the upper decks of a freighter. And it was moved onto the ice shelf, and then they removed the bottom and put it on those...
Put on stilts.
That's it. I wanted to say stumps, but that wasn't right. In the forest.
Oh, wow.
So
but I guess that would make building it pretty easy. You just have to
take
what you already brought there.
Yeah, and I know they do the same thing in the Arctic.
Well, and it would be the same as what they're planning on doing with the moon bases and everything else, is taking the ship that they take there and making it into the base. Don't look at me like that. Oh my God.
No, like I am comparing it to. So what I would have to compare it to is an oil rig in Alaska.
Right.
If it can't be flown in, if it can't be driven in, it is floated in.
Okay.
And it is amphibious vehicle that floats in, and once it hits land, it drives the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I
can see that.
So, and then once they get to the actual spot, they just pull the wheels. And then it actually has its own stilts that pound into the ground and lift it up.
Right.
They've actually been made, like, they've made them very... the engineering is amazing.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it is making it a lot easier for us as all kinds of people to there it went.
Oh, man.
It's making it easier us to explore.
Language.
Yeah. It's making it easier for us to explore the rest of the Earth that we haven't been able to in the past.
Right.
Because there's still parts of Africa, Brazil, that modern man has never... Yeah, like modern man has never set foot on.
The Amazon, we still find temples.
It's kind of screwed that everywhere we go, we're still trying to drill for oil, but hey.
Right.
Yeah, right.
We do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So what else about Antarctica do you got going there, buddy?
Well, I have one more topic, but it's for the last hour.
Well, you got 15 minutes left of this hour, so think of another topic.
Okay, well, okay. So, you and Barry do actually fall under the... Like, you fall in line with the Nazis having a base there. Do you believe that they had contact with aliens in the Antarctic region?
Do we have any satellites there?
In
satellite
what way?
Dishes. Are there any arrays in Antarctica?
Not as far as I know.
You know, like SETI.
I believe we have small ones, but nothing that can reach far distances.
Okay.
Like, not up.
I think there's something very, very mystical and magical hidden in that area that is very well protected. And I think any
magic is killed by the cold.
Could be.
At the same time...
How long have we been there? And how long has that's been going on? And just imagine the things that we're gaining that we're not aware of right now as we're talking about this place. You know?
That
I don't know if we'll ever be aware of.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
never will.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't think we'll ever know.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's just part of that, one of those things, just like some of the other mysteries that we have here that we talk about all the time. We'll never know them either. You know, that's
the thing. Take the jurisdiction, for lack of a better word, aspect out of it. It's a no man's land. We get that. You have to ask for permission to go there. Yada yada yada. we sit here and we talk about being prepared just to go in the woods with water and survival gear.
Right.
Can you imagine going there without being prepared?
No.
I mean, that is such a rough environment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take... So we do cold weather training in Alaska. We do cold weather training in... I say we. I've never done cold weather training in Alaska or New York. We're in Washington. It's cold here sometimes. But our Army units do cold weather training in New York, Fort Drum, and Alaska, which don't touch Antarctica. They really don't.
No.
So, yeah, again, I don't think any manner of preparedness of going there to do research would be enough.
You know what, though? So, Alaska does reach minus 40.
Mm-hmm.
In certain parts of Alaska, it reaches minus 40. Am I wrong? It doesn't?
Oh, it reaches a lot lower than that.
Right, but I'm saying, just in general, okay? So, I have been in minus 40.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that before.
Quit whining.
It is enough to step outside for 3 seconds and your eyeballs and your nostril hair is frozen to your head.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay. So, yes, been in that. However, at minus 30, at minus 20, it does the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, it's kind of like that. Once you get to the point of you are so cold that you can't be any colder, you really can't be any colder. Like, it doesn't feel like it's any colder past the point of already my brain is freezing to my skull.
And I get that, but when you get to a certain point and you whine about your nostril hairs, can you imagine not having the right gloves on? Or not having the right socks on?
Now, if you didn't have the proper gear, you're going to get frostbite in a couple of seconds.
You're going to get frostbite in like 2 minutes.
I would imagine that when you do any type of expedition, when you leave, the government, in some aspect, I would imagine it's definitely with the U.S. government and the Canadian government, when you go, they make sure you have the right equipment.
Well, they would have to, because they can't send a freaking search party out there to get you. Yeah. If you go astray, I mean, you're dead. So they're going to want to make sure that you're properly prepared for the trip.
Your liability, they don't want to pay that money.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, you probably have to buy your equipment from them that's already tested in an environment of this, and this.
No, you got to be a special kind of person. I mean, just imagine if you have something that happens to you out there, and I believe there was a scientist who was down there that had, she said that she found herself that she had cancer cells. She had to do a surgery, and she actually did it on herself because there was no time to get her back anywhere, no one to get her there. So they did it right there, and can you imagine doing that? No.
Well, I don't know, when I was 16, when we were snowmobiling, it'd be minus 29, minus 30, and we were sitting in t-shirts snowmobiling.
And what's the coldest it gets? What's the warmest it gets in Antarctica?
That's what I'm looking for right now.
I mean, it is negative 60 or negative 160. Whatever. The
negative. It's below
below 60.
Negative 60. It's 65.
Is that the warmest?
The warmest is 20.
65 degrees.
25.
February 7th, it hit 65 degrees.
Yeah, that's warm.
Wow.
Okay.
So
the coldest...
that is its warmest ever.
And that was probably in 2020.
In February. Like, coming from where we do, that's weird. Like, I know for, like, Australia, that's their summer, but...
Yeah, 2020, we're breaking records left and right. Woohoo! Yeah, no.
Before that, their highest was 58 degrees.
Yeah, so it's only 2 degrees more than what it has been. It's not a big deal.
So you wouldn't be like, well, I mean...
But the problem is, like, it's not even the cold that gets you.
It's the snow, man.
No, it's the wind.
Oh, I guess it is windy.
That wind chill is going to drop you down another 20 degrees.
Or more.
Friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on how fast the wind's running that day.
Because it's already negative 60, you got a wind chill factor, it's going to drop you to 180. And I agree, to a certain extent, there's no difference in how it feels. But there is a difference.
No, that's not true.
Well, there is a difference in the hypothermia factor and the frostbite factor.
The way it feels is 10 times worse with a wind chill because a wind chill will bite through any jacket.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty terrible when it gets like minus 30 and then there's like a major wind chill. And
so I was talking about the difference between negative 20 and negative 60 without the wind.
Oh, hell yeah, there's a difference in the way it feels. I don't care who you are. Minus 60 sucks. Friend, that's horrible.
Oh, yeah, when your nostril hairs are freezing to your nose. Yeah.
No, the nostril hairs aren't even the bad part.
What's the bad part?
The bad part is your your damn eyeballs.
Oh.
No, the beer freezes. That's the bad part.
That's why you wear a baklava.
No. When my eyeballs froze over and I felt like I had 2 ice cubes instead of an eyeball, no. That was too much, man.
That's why the Army issues us a baklava.
Yeah, wind speeds, Dennis just put up, wind speeds can exceed 100 kilometers an hour for days at a time. Wind gusts well over 200 kilometers an hour. Friend.
Yeah. I just saw a thing that the coldest temperature that's been there is negative 90.
Woo!
Tidbit nipply.
Just a little bit.
A tad bit.
And good luck chopping through that ice with those temperatures.
And
to find you a Nazi cave.
With 100-mile-an-hour wind.
Right.
That takes the wind chill factor down, too.
So on the coast, their average temperature every day is 14 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Okay, so back in, I don't know, I'm sorry. Back when the Nazis would have made this trip over there, though, they didn't have anywhere near the protective equipment that we have now.
Oh, no.
Like, you wouldn't have gone to your local REI and bought yourself
a
the deal. 40 below jacket.
I was thinking about that earlier. And no, Germany by any means is not going to be as cold as Antarctica. Don't get me wrong.
No.
It's damn cold.
But Germany is absolutely. I mean,
in their winter, they'd reach the same temperatures as Canada.
Right. Yes and no. I compared Germany a lot to here. It gets colder in Germany.
I think it depends on the region.
So I was mostly in Bavaria. I was in. I was all over. No, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember all the regions I was in because I know Stuttgart and whatnot is in Bavaria. I want to say Bad Hersfeld and Fulda Gap area is the other side by East Germany. And we actually did our morning PT or our morning exercise wearing our NBC suits. That's how cold it got. Wow. And it wasn't because we wanted to wear our wonderful NBC or our gas mask. We hated that shit. But it kept you warmer.
Yeah.
So we were actually excited about wearing them because
it would do the same thing as a balaclava.
Yeah.
To a point.
It brings you up about 20 degrees. I'd rather wear a baklava.
Balaclava.
There you go. But yeah, no, we actually did a lot of morning runs and whatnot in NBC gear, just for the heat factor.
Even those have changed throughout the years, though. I remember wearing the ones when I was a kid, and they were full wool, and they were so scratchy. They were horrible.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, I think I was 14 when I got my first really expensive one, and it's just this thin little piece of nylon.
Yeah.
And it kept me 10 times warmer than the wool one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a $60 piece of fabric.
Right.
Yeah, but so I guess they would be equipped to be able to handle cold temperatures at that point. I mean, maybe not as cold as it could potentially get there, but they'd still be...
You gotta remember, there were explorers of the Arctic in the 1800s that went by wooden boat. Friend,
I'm just saying, how many sheets do you have to wear?
The boats didn't make it, but a lot of them walked home.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, though. You would have, like, a whole farm worth of sheep roll on you.
They walked down into Canada trying to get to the Arctic Circle.
Walk home. I mean, that's and we're talking about, you're worried about Germans trying to get to a certain area.
Yeah, no joke. I'm just thinking of how much equipment and how heavy all that shit would... Like, man, you would look like a big old fluffy sheep.
No, penguin.
Well, there's that... I can't remember what it's called, but there is a race that they do every year up in northern Canada.
The Iditarod?
Yes, the Iditarod.
Yep.
You look at what they wear, it's 100 pounds of equipment.
Yeah, that's true.
And a lot of them still wear the original first because they want to do the traditional race.
Right.
Yeah.
On that note, we need to go to our second break. We will be back with the last of the Antarctica show, so stay tuned.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
And we are back with the third hour of Mysteries of Antarctica. So, of course, as was always with S4, we save the best for last.
Woohoo!
Drum roll, please.
It is flat Earth. Flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth.
Cash flying off the plate. Cash flying off the plate.
Hey, diddle diddle.
So, the way it's said here, there is a weird conspiracy theory that the whole of Antarctica and the South Pole do not exist. This belief is most common among flat earthers who claim that our planet is flat. Flat earthers believe that the North Pole is the center of the world, while the South Pole surrounds the Earth. According to flat earthers, Antarctica is actually a thick wall about 30 to 60 meters high that surrounds our planet. The wall stops everything from falling over the edge of the Earth. Flat earthers say we cannot confirm the existence of the wall because world governments and the United Nations have a strict no-fly and no-sail zone around Antarctica.
It is possible!
No.
In what way is it possible?
Nope.
Gotta be
Okay, so...
You know what?
Here's what I'm gonna...
Here's the deal. The last time I seen a flat earther trying to convince anybody that the Earth was flat, he had a plate. And he used 4th grade science.
Oh, okay,
said,
okay.
Look,
No.
I pour a cup of water on the plate, it just kind of flows off. Just like the Earth. No, it's not. No, go back to school, kid. And this guy's in his 20s.
So where's all the water going that's in the ocean? Anyway, let's hold it on that wall.
It's going to pour out if that wall breaks. Oh my God, we're going to lose our ocean. It's going to float your feet into the space. Yeah.
Okay, now I am not...
What's in those trenches then?
I am not saying that flat Earth is real. I am not a flat earther. I do not believe that the Earth is flat. However, there is one way that the Earth could potentially be flat, and we see it as a globe. Okay? No? So, yeah, here's the issue. Now, if you take a piece of paper, if you take a square piece of paper, right? And you move it really, really, really fast in a circle. Okay? Like super fast in a circle. It appears to be round.
So you're saying our flat pancake Earth is moving really, really, really fast in a circle?
Super fast on its axis. Yes.
So how come we're not flying off?
Why would we be? The pressure of the speed of the movement would be keeping us on. No, trust me.
Okay.
I know that that's nuts, but seriously, if you were to move something at a super speed, then the gravity that would cause and the pull that would cause would keep us upright.
Look at this. Your best friend woke up, and she even has to say, wow.
No, and I understand. Like, me personally, I do not believe in flat Earth.
Said, wow, but you're bringing up flat Earth, really?
Flat Earth, that's the only way I could see the potential for flat Earth being anywhere near a possibility, and from space, seeming round.
So has anyone ever heard the name Bob Nodell?
Noodle?
Nodell.
No.
Alright, he is a flat earther who was on a Netflix documentary called Behind the Curve. I'm surprised Kayla doesn't know his name.
Yeah, well.
He hosts a YouTube channel entirely dedicated to the theory, and he was part of a team that bought a $20,000 laser gyroscope to prove the Earth actually doesn't rotate. Except it does.
Yes.
What they found is when they turned on the gyroscope, they were picking up a 15 degree per hour drift.
Drifting it. Yeah.
Meaning we're going to hit Pluto if it's a flat Earth.
They spent $20,000 proving that the Earth is round.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, surprised.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Well, if you've been on the moon, that's another subject now. If you go around that, well, I guess we all ought to move there because same thing when you're looking at it from the other side of the fence. You ought to be able to. You are able to navigate all the way around the Earth just by the projection of the Space Center, everything else. It goes all the way through it. So, where are you going? I don't know.
Well,
I've never been much of a flat earther. I can get in a lot of different things, but flat earth, nope, can't do that.
No.
8 planets in the solar system, and sphere, flat, sphere. Like,
yeah, right. One got hit with something and became a pancake. You know, I don't know.
What do you got?
Why are you looking at me like that?
You're looking like you have an answer for that.
I have an answer for everything, whether or not it's true. Okay. Now that's a totally different topic. Oh man.
So his little flat earther friends were probably thoroughly embarrassed that he spent $20,000 on a gyroscope.
Okay, so this is actually in the documentary because they asked Netflix to take it out and they refused.
Oh wow.
So what he says is, now we were obviously taken aback by that. Wow, that's kind of a problem. We obviously were not willing to accept that, so we started looking for an easy way to disprove it, and to disprove it was actually registering the motion of the Earth. You know what they say, if your experiment proves you wrong, just disregard the results.
So that's right.
You don't want to blow this, you know, when you've got $20,000 in this freaking gyro. If we dumped what we found right now, it would be bad. It would be bad. What I just told you is confidential.
Okay.
And that's true. It is, because you have to pay for Netflix in order to see it. So, to me, that's confidential.
Yes, very confidential.
Wow, I'm going to have to watch that now because I'm that person. Okay.
You know, unfortunately, I'm going to have to watch it too just so I can get a laugh.
Right. So what if...
You guys got to wait about 13 hours just
all
so
right,
you know.
okay, so here's the thing. So what if the Earth is flat and we are all two-dimensional? We just believe we are three-dimensional because our mind capacities make what we think is reality into reality.
Oh, wait. Okay, so that's what happened to the dinosaurs.
Where did you find her at it?
Well, what I'm wondering... Okay, so Kayla just was able to gain employment, and she's supposed to pass a piss test.
Not gonna make it.
On those kind of drugs.
No, Jesus.
That's what happened to the dinosaurs. Yeah. They got too close to the edge and they fell off.
No, it flipped. It accidentally
They
flipped over.
Okay.
A T-Rex can't even clap his goddamn hands. You honestly think he jumped over the edge?
Oh.
If you're happy and you know it, jump off the edge. Woo! Okay.
We're way too far into this to start seeing that little T-Rex's hands going, yeah.
Right?
Oh my God.
I jumped off the
Okay,
planet.
you know what? I would totally love to see it doing that, waving its hands around, going, ah, zah, zah, zah. It would be great. Okay.
In front of a rake.
So.
Alright, hey, we don't have to worry about the Earth being flat, being round, being a rectangle, being a triangle.
Because it's 2020.
Because, according to Elon Musk,
Oh, God.
we live in a computer simulation, man.
Okay.
Matrix.
So therefore, it's not flat and it's not round, but it can be either.
But here's the thing.
If the world's actually flat, how do you explain the asteroid hitting the Earth what, 20 million years ago? 25?
Okay.
How do you explain sunrise and sunset?
That's another good one.
Dude, this is super easy. Check this out.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. You open Pandora's box of flat earth theory here. No. But seriously.
Changing your name to Pandora?
I love it. So, how can you describe all of these things? How can it be this? How can it be? Because it's not. Okay?
What?
Because if we live on a flat earth, then that would mean that we are two-dimensional creatures, not three-dimensional creatures. Right? Because you can't live on a two-dimensional surface and be three-dimensional. It's an impossibility. Right?
Wait.
So,
if we
like that.
I want weapons.
if we are
working.
two-dimensional creatures, then it wouldn't matter, because in our eyes, it would be whatever freaking shape it's supposed to be in the three-dimensional. Even though we see it and perceive it as three-dimensional, it would be two-dimensional.
That's all.
What?
I hate to say that, but that makes sense.
I'm serious.
Here's the deal, guys. You both just went full retard. You never go full retard. Come on.
Oh, man.
And we're definitely not in a Matrix, because I just said I want an AR-15 and it didn't show up.
Oh, there's rules to Matrix, man. There's rules to
No,
Matrix.
not according to the movie, there ain't.
Oh,
It's,
buddy. In no way could Keanu Reeves be the one. Okay,
Yeah,
one of those
that
things-
movie was flawed from the beginning.
And Izzy just said, no, it doesn't, Barry. You just need sleep.
Now,
You couldn't mention it.
I can explain that one.
What?
You know automatically now how Fortnite works. The AR-15 is an in-game purchase.
Oh, okay.
And we's out of money.
Oh,
Yeah. Our bank account is dried up.
No, there's no striker. I don't see a striker in the driveway either.
Oh, man.
That's not an in-game purchase. Striker
You
just
can't
gonna sit
break
there.
the reality that you live in, because if you break the reality that you live in, then you know that it would be a fictitious reality, and
Oh,
it would
I'm not-
drive you insane.
Actually, that's not true. He just took 2 blue pills. Those were blue.
right.
Uh-huh. They were.
Were they little blue?
No. I was in that movie, but no.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
No, look, but okay. To me, us being in a computer simulation is just as insane as us being
Flat
on a
Earth?
flat Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Anything is possible.
No,
if
it's
you
not.
believe.
Aren't they coming out with a new Matrix movie?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Actually, Bill and Ted Face the Music hit shelves
Wait.
Friday.
Is it going to be the Matrix on Flat Earth? That would be interesting.
I honestly don't know how they can take it any further than they already did.
No, it's just good.
Because they're going to call it The Matrix Total Reboot. Watch. I'm serious. Because that's the only place they can go from there. Because they did The Matrix Reloaded. They did The Matrix Revolution. Now it's going to be The Matrix Total Reboot.
They've
Because
done
it
it all.
has
Well,
to.
okay, but so College Humor, a few years after The Matrix 3 came out, they did this whole thing about how it ran on Windows XP, and so the bullets, every time they went a few inches, they had to reload, and it would give the loading bar. And then the entire world froze, and it did the blue screen of death. But the actual movie of The Matrix, that's literally what it was. It was one big virus that infected the entire computer, and that was Neo's job. He was the antivirus.
Yeah.
Right.
So they already did that. He was the reboot.
Yeah, no, this is Total Reboot 2020 style. Okay?
You
So
can't-
anything can happen,
No, but
anywhere,
it can't-
anytime.
It can't be because it's still Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, man. No.
I should have let Eric say his name because I like the way he says it.
Keanu Reeves cannot continuously
Keanu Reeves.
play an action hero. Once you reach the age of like 45, you should not be an action hero anymore. It doesn't work. When you get out of bed and all your muscles go crack, 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 it doesn't work so well to be a computer simulation like that.
If Chuck Norris can still do it, he can too.
Yeah, well...
Yes. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I guess Schwarzenegger keeps doing it, so why not?
They're all getting too old.
Yeah.
We need some new heroes coming up, except for the fact that all we got now is twinkly freaking vampires. So...
No, sparkly.
I call them
Sparkly
twinkles.
vampires.
So, on the flat Earth subject, back to that, since you are taking the devil's advocate point of view,
I'm really actually good at this. I should go on like...
how do you explain the horizon?
How do I explain the horizon?
We have such powerful telescopes that if you look from the ocean, you should be able to see the other continent.
You ever folded a piece of paper in half?
Yeah.
Triangle Earth.
So now it's not flat, now it's a triangle?
Well, it could be any shape you want it to be because it's flat. You could mold it into anything.
No, flat Earth is.
So who's molding it?
Man, I'm going to origami this thing and I'm going to make it into a swan. Check it out.
But who's molding it?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you going to call it? The higher power?
The Cosmic Masters.
Whatever.
So why is he doing that?
Why? Why does a kid play with a Rubik's Cube for 15 hours even though they can't solve it?
Okay, but
gives them something to do.
It's flat when everyone says it, but as soon as you try and look at it, he folds it.
Yeah, he's messing with you. It's like one of those little hand puppets. Hello, Earth. No, I have no idea. I can't explain the horizon. Oh, wait, I can.
Oh, God, here we go.
The telescope is flat, too.
This is the sleep-deprived answer.
Okay. Sniping.
Sniping?
Yes.
Like the bird that you hunt
So
for?
when
with
a
pillowcase?
sniper takes a shot that is over 1,000 feet,
It should just keep on going straight.
it should just keep going straight, but they are required to calculate the curvature of the Earth and add that into the equation. You have once told me that math is the end-all of language and communication in all worlds.
But that's not when it's flat.
If they add in the curvature of a sphere, why does the shot still ring true?
Because they're flat and their weapon is flat. I can only say that so many times. I have no idea. I don't actually believe in flat Earth, so therefore I can't keep coming up with reasons why Earth is supposedly flat when I don't actually believe that the Earth is supposedly flat. But
You're making your friend hate her life.
what has she got going here?
Izzy says, why did you go for the folded paper instead of convex like a contact lens? I hate that you have me contemplating an answer for this.
And she got some sleep.
Oh.
So the convex shape would still count as flat and still work with your fast spinning so it looks round theory.
Thank you, Izzy. See? Izzy knows what's up. And then you'd have to, still do, honestly, the trajectory thing with the bullet because it's half flat. Like one of those little poppy things that kids get at birthday parties.
Okay, now how do you explain ocean currents? With the convex shape, how would you explain the fact that the ocean currents don't go in the same direction for every ocean?
Well,
if you're spinning that fast and the pressure is what's holding that ocean down, the pressure would have to make them all spin in the exact same direction, meaning they would all be going in one direction.
Yeah, but then that's what the moon happens. the moon's gravitational pull off of the fact that these are being flattened and off of the fact that it's pulling, right? So the moon is pulling, the sun is pulling. You would have ocean currents. The same reason that we have ocean currents now. Even with a round freaking Earth, there's no reason for us to have ocean currents if it wasn't for the fact that the moon was causing them.
If it wasn't for the fact that both are spheres.
And no. It doesn't have to be a spherical thing. It is a magnetic thing. Because whether or not we want to believe it, these are still magnetic poles at the end of each side. So if you have two magnetic poles that are pushing against each other, right? And you have another magnetic pole, which would be the moon has magnetic poles as well, that are pulling them back from their original spot. So what you're doing is you're having it in and out, causing your ocean tides and currents.
But
Caleb, there's only one pole on
flat Earth, there would be no pole.
There's only one pole.
No, if it was a flat Earth, there'd be two poles.
No, there is only
just
one
one's
pole.
In the middle.
No.
But
there is no South Pole. It doesn't exist.
Shut up.
Right.
But
yeah.
As Dennis says, flat earthers believe the disk is rising, not spinning.
Well, then we all gonna burn up in the damn sun eventually. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're going to anyways, because obviously it's gonna become a red giant at some point and suck us in and kill us all.
Shut up.
But
I didn't like that documentary you watched. That was...
Oh, I scared the hell out of him with that one.
If the Earth is flat, then let's think the moon is flat. It can't be flat because we know the moon's hollow.
You know what, Dennis? I don't know why that disappeared, but that actually was a very good explanation for that. The reason that a bullet drops is because the Earth is rising to meet the bullet.
Oh. Hey, thank you, Dennis. Look at this. We all of a sudden become a bunch of S4E flat earthers here.
Oh, no, that's never happened.
Wow, no. Dennis, 7 minutes ago, said, I cannot believe there was actually a small percentage of people who actually believe this. True believers. Like,
neither can I. But you've had me talking about it for 25 minutes now. And I'm running out of ideas, so thank you, Dennis and Izzy, for helping me come up with theories of why flat Earth is flat.
The Earth rises to meet the bullet is because the velocity slows down after a while.
Yeah, I would have to agree that would ring true for the theory.
Explain that to the elk.
To the elk.
I'm not... To be true, like we've been sighting in rifles for the last couple weeks,
above the elk when we shoot.
We've been sighting in at 50 yards. Past that, I'm not that great of a shot. The elk have nothing to worry about.
You're a liar, sir. I have seen you shoot a rabbit with a BB gun from a good fucking 100 feet away and get a total kill shot through the eyeball.
Well,
I have seen that.
That's 50 yards. That's not.
You gotta lead them.
Fran.
Don't be sitting there telling me, oh no, nothing personal.
I'm just saying.
You gotta lead them.
You're just letting people know that you ain't a great shot.
Well, yeah.
You don't want them coming here and looting us when 2020 really goes wrong.
No.
I mean, that's not going to happen. We're good.
I agree with the one sign I saw is before you loot my house, you stand outside on the porch.
And you're gonna fall because your Earth is rising.
No. You have a little talk. If you're gonna loot my house, you have a little talk with Jesus outside. You make your peace, and you tell him I'll be right there.
Yes.
Because as soon as you enter the house, you're gonna be meeting him.
Yeah.
Friend, so
I ain't gonna put that up on this door. You crazy?
Don't have to. It says Wegleitner Street. That's all they need to know.
Shit.
Bigfoot guarding the place anyway.
That is a question I have for everyone.
For any?
So Yeti.
Got
Offshoot of Bigfoot.
Ah.
Do we think he's in Antarctica, and maybe that's one of the reasons we can't actually explore most of it?
No.
So we know he can't be in the Arctic. Unless he's sitting on a little lonely island and has nothing to do.
No, he lives in the Himalayas, man.
Yeah.
Okay, but why would that be the only place he lives?
Because that's the place he was at. Just like the reason that we have Bigfoot in the North Cascades.
So why do we have humans on every continent?
Oh, I'm not saying...
Aliens put us there.
I'm not saying that there isn't different offshoots and different types of Bigfoot in different areas and different things like that, but
is there a possibility that there is one on Antarctica, and that is one of the reasons why we've never been able to enter the...
So let's briefly ask Brian that at 4.
That's true.
But no.
At 4 p.m. we have Cryptids with Brian Bowden.
Oh, that's going to be a fun show. He's a good guy. That's going to be a great show. But
are you going to make him, Barry?
I honestly don't think so, guys. I really don't think so.
Barry didn't even make it to the end of that question.
Yeah, right?
I'm still stuck on flat Earth. I'm going, oh my gosh.
Oh no, it's daytime now. I think the worst part of it was pitch black out, and
now. Good morning, everyone. Friend, it
good morning.
9:29 in the beautiful Cascade Mountains here.
Cock-a-doodle-doo! Oh, sorry.
And we have
11:29 in central Kentucky.
Oh, jeez.
But you know what sucks about that, Barry? The thought that we get to end the show, that this marathon for us ends at 10 p.m. It doesn't end for you until what, midnight?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, that brought up that. So if the Earth is flat, Earth's flat.
Mm-hmm.
How do you explain, and this is probably going to be a simple answer, my brain's not at full capacity right now for damn sure. But how do you explain the Mammoth Caves and how they go down? Yeah. How far, how
do you explain how far we've drilled?
Right. And that's my question. So, and this would be a flat earther answer, question. If they think the Earth is flat, how deep does the Earth go? Has there ever been an answer for that?
Well, obviously, if it was flat, okay, they didn't say the Earth is square.
How many miles
they
down
said the Earth
does the
is
Earth go?
flat.
Or how many,
So it couldn't
There's got to be an end.
So it couldn't go any more down.
If we drill and, if we just keep drilling, are we going to punch a hole in the Earth?
A gigantic hole across the bottom of it. I mean, what's on the bottom of the Earth anyway? There's a lot of wasted space.
It's just oil. Space is made out of oil, and that's what happened.
It would be. But how thick is the Earth supposed to be if the Earth is flat?
Well, see, and that's the thing, though.
And if we shoot into the ground, are we going to accidentally punch a hole? I mean, obviously not. But are we going to punch a hole? Or if we, if we're drilling for oil, is there a chance that we're going to punch a hole in the Earth?
Right. Shit.
Huh?
Okay, so I punched in, how deep do flat earthers believe the Earth is?
Uh-huh.
And
a mile.
What came up is they don't believe trees exist.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Okay.
They had an argument with a guy who plants trees for a living. And they said trees do not exist. They are a figment of our imagination.
I told you! 2D and 2D!
Oh my God. I'm sorry, trees. I'm sorry, Faye. You don't really have a home.
I'm sorry, oxygen for the human race to breathe. I'm just saying.
They just get more and more ridiculous with their little theories.
Well, you have to in order to prove
they say our flat Earth has no forests.
Well, I mean, look at all of this stuff that we came up with just trying to prove.
Logger.
So what the hell is that?
Well, no, explain that to a logger.
It's like buying a pizza without any topping.
Explain that to a logger. They're just cutting down a figment of our imagination. And so, how do you explain paper?
So Izzy missed the first 2 hours of the show, and she says, forgive me if we've already gone over it, but why do we keep saying that no one can explore Antarctica? There is a large percentage of the area that cannot be explored due to the conditions that it not only exerts on vehicles, but also airplanes, and pretty much any type of vehicle.
It's so vast, and the environment is so rugged, there's parts
so
you can't get
the
to.
large mountainous areas in the center that surround that large desert, you can get to the mountains, but you cannot get to the desert. They haven't been able to yet. It is too cold. And it's too cold, too windy, and too dry. All three combined make for dead humans.
And so Dennis is saying flat earthers believe in, quote, unquote, science of the senses. Only believe what you can see and not what others dictate. So, step outside your house, you can see the tree. You can reach out and touch the bark and probably get a sliver or get pitch. You can smell cedar. That's just ridiculous.
They believe Earth has an energy dome covering us. I saw that Simpsons movie.
Okay, so wait a minute. If the Earth has an energy dome covering us, then it's round.
Oh, don't shoot up in the air. You might punch a hole in the dome.
No, but I mean, so the energy dome that covers us,
right?
It's a dome, meaning
we're in a snow globe.
Round.
It would be round. So we're just
that's what earthquakes are.
Bottom of a snow globe.
It's aliens shaking the planet.
But then why does it only shake in one spot?
Ooh.
We're a really expensive snow globe.
We are. Damn.
Don't shake Earth, it's fragile. I can just see.
So I can't find anything on how deep they believe the Earth. Yeah. So, but
well, technically,
as they have said, if it doesn't support your theory, ignore it.
Well, technically, if it's flat, it would have to be flat, because if it was any depth, then it wouldn't be flat.
Well, no, you know what? They've already ruined that whole thought process anyway with trees don't exist. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
They just lost it.
We should have involved them in the cults.
Episode. That would be a good thing.
Right.
We could just throw our dead off the edge.
Right? Yeah.
We
can print as much of it as we want, because trees and paper don't exist, so therefore money is also a figment.
Well,
true.
Everything is
there's no paper.
Apparently.
Right? Wow. That would be such a horrible world to live in.
Yeah.
You just got a white blank piece of nothing.
Like they're the type also that pick and choose what they want to believe anyway.
They're cafeteria flat earthers. Dang.
What is the number of, statistically speaking, what's the number of membership in that whole flat earth theory?
How many people actually believe it?
Yeah.
Probably as many as the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
It just, the whole thing baffles me. And finally, where do penguins come from?
I wonder how long it would take me to get a cult following. Just the most ridiculous ideas you've ever heard of, just thrown into a bucket and pick 10 of them out.
Right.
And see how long it would take you to get over 100 people following you. I bet it would be a week and a half. Tops.
Well, it is 2020, so I say a day.
Yeah, true. if we're going for hundreds, yeah.
Oh. What do you got? No answer for that one yet?
Well, they mix it into a whole bunch of other crap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are the things. Yeah.
Huh.
That's the Matrix theory. Oh, Genesis Flat Earth Society, TFES.org.
Flatty flats. Wow. Huh.
Okay, so the membership peaked at 3,500 in 1997 and has steadily declined since.
I wonder why.
So there's only like probably 500 of these dudes
I know
left.
why.
Or less. What?
They have flat cookies.
Flat cookies?
Yeah, at their meetings.
Oh,
You can't have
so.
flat punching pie. It just doesn't work.
Right.
So, yeah.
But then I guess
you figure,
you know.
So you figure 3,500 in 1997 in 3 years' time? No.
So a market research
math
firm,
sucks.
YouGov, did a poll in 2018 with 8,215 people. 84% said they have always believed the world is round. 5% stated, I always thought the world was round, but more recently I am skeptical, have doubts. 2% stated, I always thought the world is flat, but more recently I have skeptical, have doubts. And 2% with I've always believed the world is flat. The remaining 7% said other, not sure. Whatever the fuck other means.
Right.
Hey. There is the great whale theory. And there is
good
also...
God, what the hell's the great whale theory?
There's the great whale theory, and there is also the great tortoise theory.
Oh, that...
So
yeah.
that would fall into other.
Oh, they
Okay.
can eat a fat one, too.
So, like, the Earth is actually a turtle that's...
Yes,
moving
it's
through
actually
the-
a turtle
yeah.
moving through the... Yes, and then the same thing with the great whale. It's just on a whale instead of a turtle.
If that was true...
That's a bumpy ride.
Yeah, but... Have you ever seen those things where the tortoises end up on a pole upside down?
Well,
It
that's
happens
what
in Texas
earthquakes
a
are.
lot. Well, no, but
Try,
there'd
you
be
know,
an
the tortoise
alien
try to
that would...
flip up.
We'd already be upside down, and in the center there'd be a big stick that was crushing half of the world.
Yeah.
What?
I'm just... Okay, I'm horrible, but my mind automatically went to... Well, if the world is on a tortoise's back, are we a female tortoise or a male tortoise?
Oh my gosh, you are terrible. Oh my gosh.
Well,
Because one of these, we would end up dying really quick in a catastrophe.
no, but the female one makes a little bit more sense. That explains the earthquakes.
Wow.
And it also explains that high-pitched noise that people hear in the sky sometimes.
Oh, are we going to go into turtle porn now?
Have you ever seen that video?
Oh my god.
It circulated Facebook for a while, and it literally was turtle porn.
Yeah, weird.
Oh, wonderful. But, yeah, I just...
I'll send it to you.
Okay, how did we get from Antarctica to turtle porn, guys? We need to keep on
You
track.
brought it up.
Hey, I just didn't want to die in a catastrophe. Okay.
So, I would say basically, as far as we stand, flat earthers, thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down.
Yeah, debunked.
ain't nothing...
And as far
for-
as I'm
no.
concerned about Antarctica, I still think that there's enough evidence on both sides of that, and we actually have never seen enough of it to really tell you the truth.
I truly
Right.
believe there
Well-
will be enough evidence sooner than later. I believe our technology will catch up to what we want to do.
Or the aliens will come down and say, hi, we're here, before then.
And then we'll ask them
Yeah.
what's over there, and they'll be like, nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I put my brother
We're in
Steve
Antarctica.
over
We
there.
didn't have to travel that far.
Yeah.
It's recently they discovered 100 million years ago that there was an ancient fossil in rainforest out there, and that's something we talked about it being that way, but still, I mean, where did they get the samples to be able to tell that happened 100 million years ago? I mean, if the ice is that thick, where did they find dirt at?
Right.
Because they had to find something to test that with, correct?
Yeah, they would have to.
Yeah.
What? I don't know, man. I don't know enough about Antarctica. I don't know enough about nothing.
All I know is that Antarctica is, to me, still one of the strangest places that is on this planet, and holds more mysteries every day. Right. And we never find out about them. We'll never find out about them because
not in our lifetime.
I've said here before, the stuff that we find here in this country, they bury. So why in the heck would they tell us about that?
I disagree because in the early 1920s, there was a lot of scientists that said we will never know the secrets of Egypt. We will never discover everything they were into.
Yeah.
Now, every couple of months, we are opening new tombs. We are discovering new areas. In the 1920s, the pyramids weren't fully exposed. Neither was the Sphinx.
Right. Well, that's true, but we still have...
We still have hundreds
tons
of years
to go through.
Learn. Right.
But I think we'll start to catch up. The problem is the temperature difference. It's pretty easy to handle the heat.
Well,
you can make things that handle that.
And I'd have to say politics, too. Mm-hmm. Because some of these countries that have these, artifacts and whatnot won't let scientists and archaeologists come in to look at it.
Well, and what do you do with a country that doesn't belong to anybody? An area that is completely undeveloped and unowned by anyone. So then, if they do discover something that is a tourist attraction or something of that nature...
Who owns it?
Who owns it, and what museum does it go to, in what country?
Mm-hmm. That's why we're going to take an S4 flag there. We're going to plant it in the middle of the Antarctica. We're going to take over.
I think they would see that as a hostile event, and
we'll fight them to the death.
Oh, we die pretty quick. I mean, just stuck in Antarctica without any food or any way to grow any. I'm thinking we'd die pretty quick because Cole's also allergic to fish. So yeah, nothing.
I can eat a penguin. That's a bird.
There you go. Well, there was rumors of gigantic penguins back then, too.
Gigantic penguinus?
Yes.
Yes. Those are awesome.
That would be the best,
Dennis, you want to clarify that?
Are you talking like the Egyptian sex toys or the penguin sex toys?
Oh, yeah. No. The Egyptian ones.
Huh?
That wasn't 2 months ago because we found that it was that porno.
No, the porno was a while ago, and then a couple months ago they found the reason that the Baghdad battery exists. Okay, we'll put it that way.
They needed batteries for their sex toys.
That's kind of where I was going with that, except, I wasn't just bluntly saying.
I thought the batteries were in Iraq, not Egypt.
They are. Desert.
But,
No, but, Egypt had light bulbs, supposedly, based off of their paintings and everything else and their hieroglyphs. So, suffice it to say they had to have some form of power source to power said batteries.
I imagine when he put "it's science," he had a big goofy grin on his face.
Gotta test that guy.
Oh.
So, I need to remind everyone once more that we are currently holding our Paranormal Radio Art Contest. We here at S4 know that sometimes when dealing with the paranormal, what we experience cannot be properly put into words, so we are asking you, the public, to share with us your best paranormal artwork. Between August 1st and September 30th, we will be accepting your 2D artwork, which we will then be featuring on Facebook, Twitter, and our webpage during the month of October. The hosts of S4 will then pick one to win an S4 swag bag valued at $75. All 2D mediums accepted must be 18 to enter. You messed up. All artwork must be PG. No nudity, please. Pasties are allowed. Entries should be submitted to s4radiowinner@gmail.com. That's s4radiowinner@gmail.com. Also, make sure you go to the S4 Paranormal website. So that's www.s-4radio.com and visit our store. Check out the blog of all of our guests, and check out the archives of the old shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
And get your apron.
Get out. Oh, they should already have their apron.
Okay.
Friend, if they visited the website, they should already have their apron. It's the only way you guys are getting into the cult, okay? Huh?
Oh, man. A snorkel?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said we needed S4 snorkels. I was like, hell yes, let's do it. I want an S4 snorkel. I want to be like, I snorkeled in Antarctica.
We are now an underwater cult.
Hey, man.
With that, guys, don't forget, we will be back in about 10 minutes. And when we come back at exactly 10 a.m., you will need to refresh your browser in order to check out the new show. So make sure you do that. Make sure you stay with us. Thank you to everyone who has joined us for this entire thing.
Right.
You guys are awesome. Dennis.
You guys are amazing.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mike, you guys rock.
They suffered right
Joe,
through the
I don't know what the hell happened to you.
Joe's getting ready for round table.
Friend.
Yep.
Yeah, because Eric stole all his questions, I guess.
All right. So from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., we will be talking paranormal and the military.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good one. Stay tuned.
What do you say, Eric?
And remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.